Alright, yo, so we live right now and let's just do a mic check.
Check
Yo,
one,
yo,
two.
mic check.
Mic check 1 2. For it.
Yeah, right? Dang.
Okay, check, check, check. Let me see if I'm not peeking. Let's see. Okay. Alright, yo, so what's up, people? This is the show where we have a dope roundtable discussion on all things gaming, as well as what's trending in the gaming media. Welcome to Nest Talk, Season 2, Episode 25. And this is your host, Theslykrow. And I'm here once again with my guy, and this is the Joker Gamer V3, and it's the good homie from the UK. What's good with you?
Yo, what's up, Crow? Thank you for having me. And what's up, people in the chat, if you're here. But yeah, other than that, I'm alright, man. I just finished work not long ago. A bit tired, but other than that, I'm ready to get this show on the road, fam. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely. Appreciate you pulling up. And we got the good homie as well. This is probably one of my favorite guests of the show, and he's also a huge Zelda and Nintendo fan. And we have the TheMelodicPunk.
What's up, everybody? This is TheMelodicPunk, and Tears of the Kingdom, I'm calling it right now. Game of the year easily, but we're going to get into all that. Thank you for inviting me back on to the Nest Talk. Let's go ahead and get this thing started.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, we appreciate all the support. I know that I'm a small channel, but just know that we do support all platforms. And I feel like most podcasts they do like to downplay Nintendo, but we definitely hold Nintendo at a high standard over here. They do deserve the respect, even though they are a pretty dated console right now. But their titles are still hitting. And so actually, let's start off with our smaller topics before we get into the bigger topics. And let's get into, we do have an announcement of Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart coming to the PC platform. And it's not coming to Epic, it's actually coming to Steam on July the 26th, which is a pretty huge deal. And there seems to be a lot of good features of this. So you do have the DLSS 3.0 frame, the frame support, as well as you do have the widescreen support as well. And yeah, so this is definitely looking pretty promising here with the port. And so, what are you guys' thoughts on Ratchet & Clank coming to PC?
For me, as a Ratchet & Clank fan, people who don't have the console and everything like that, like, it's dope that it's coming on PC, but at the same time, I'm like, bro, that's what makes it whole exclusive thing, having this kind of a mascot. I would say he's a mascot for the PlayStation, right? Mm-hmm. So, coming on PC is a bit, I don't know how to feel about that. It's just one of those, yeah, I guess it's 2 years after. Well, it's a semi-new game, I would say, like 1 or 2 years lifetime, life cycle it's had so far, right? So, and then coming over to the console, PC, I don't know, I'm excited because I'm gonna see new screenshots and gameplays from a lot of other people who's been wanting to play it and they don't have the console. But I'm just like, I don't know, bro. It's just a very difficult thing to express. You know what I mean? It's just one of those things for me. But for all those people who are going to, get the game and play the game in a much better setting, I would say, where they have the powerful PCs and shit like that, I can see the whole fucking screenshots and gameplay footage being dope as fuck. So yeah, I hope Sony utilizes the game revenue from the PC platform and starts putting it into the actual fucking console itself, for better games in the future or new features and etc. Whatever they're trying to plan forward. So yeah, other than that, I'm actually at this point like, cool. There's nothing else to say for me.
Yeah, it's cool because this game was like one of the main showcase games for the PlayStation 5. So seeing it come to PC so soon, like, feels a little bit bizarre. Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, it's a good game, but it's not really a game that's, for me, at least, as much as I love 3D platforms and everything, I don't really have much of an incentive to go back to Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart anytime soon. I kind of wish Sony would have, like, started with, like, the original Ratchet & Clanks and just released a lot of the older games first on Steam before releasing this one out of nowhere. But
like that's my point exactly. Is they don't have any other Ratchet and Clank games on the PC, so just do me a favor, release the older games, or even do it like, how do you say, remastered version of it.
Yeah.
Release it, and then afterwards probably drop this maybe in about another 1 more year. I would wait 1 more year before dropping this on PC, to be honest with you.
And it's being developed by Nexus, which, if you played the Spider-Man PC port, they're a pretty damn good porting studio. So hopefully we're going to at least get a good PC port out the gate and not like The Last of Us, because I heard The Last of Us PC port was a nightmare, like, as soon as it came out. But just like with this game in particular, I would like to see the PC version, but if I'm going to go replay this game, I'll just play it on PS5 and then maybe get the PC version when it goes down on sale. It's launching at $60, which if you bought it on PlayStation 5 initially, you paid the full $70. I think this was actually the first $70 game I've ever bought, so it's crazy. But yeah, I'll definitely check it out once it hits a sale.
Yeah, like I paid full price for this fucking game when it came out, and it was something like, for me it was £73, some shit like that, right? And yeah, I was there like, you know what? Releasing this kind of game originally for the PS5 to showboat its whole features and shit like that, like, that was dope as fuck. Now, coming on PC, I'm like, alright, I know PC had the capabilities anyway, but it's one of those things where, like, because since they use this thing as an actual main selling point of the console at that point, I was there like, okay. Releasing too soon on the PC right now is a bit kind of sus, to be honest with you.
Right now, I just need to finish up my second playthroughs of Spider-Man and Return on PC, because I beat Spider-Man initially on PS4, and I've beat Returnal on PS5, and God of War I beat on PS4 too. But like, when it comes to the current PlayStation games coming to PC, I have God of War, Returnal, and Spider-Man, but I've been very slow in doing my second replays of those. But I can... Returnal, I was like, I will gladly pay $60 for this game again, because I think that's been the most replayable out of all the recent PlayStation games coming to PC. But as much as I love Spider-Man God of War 2018, it's just like, this, not to say that the pacing sucks or anything, but it's just like, when it comes to those big Sony games, it's like, the story is really good, but when you're going back to the game through a second time, you'll be like, oh man, this part drags, I'm gonna have to go through this part. So I don't know, maybe it's just a me thing, but I definitely want to play Rift Apart again on PC, but I might just wait until it goes down in price a bit.
Yeah, so shout out to Cult Classic Cage for putting up in the chat. So what's up? How you feeling? And so she says, I think Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart story is awesome and doesn't drag, so it would be a fun for a second playthrough. I did try and get into Ratchet, but I'm not a huge Ratchet fan. I do think it's good in short bursts. But yeah, it's definitely not for me. But it's definitely a good visual looking game. If you have an OLED TV, this would definitely be, it's definitely one of the good standouts of the PlayStation 5 in terms of visuals. So
yeah, that game looks crispy on TV. I played the game on performance mode, and that game still looked really crispy.
Really good, good. Like, even if you choose the fidelity mode, like graphics fidelity mode, then it's like, bro, that's, yeah. I mean, you lose frames, but honestly, the game looks really amazing, to be honest.
I do need to go back through and play all the older Ratchet and Clanks, because I actually went on my PS3. I couldn't find, I had some issues initially finding the disc copies of all the Ratchet and Clank collections and all that stuff, so I went on the PS3 store, and they were all $10 a piece. So I had the entire Ratchet and Clank series on my PS3 ready to go. I just need to pick a month or a week or whatever to just go on a giant Ratchet and Clank marathon, because I didn't grow up with the PS2 or PS3. I was mainly a Nintendo and Xbox person. So
Yeah, see, I played the first Ratchet and Clank, and then afterwards I've been playing the series throughout as it was getting dropped. There were some couple of ones that was not so great. I'm not gonna say all of the Ratchet and Clank games were great, but there was I think it was either Ratchet and Clank, one of the PS3 versions. It was not that great, bro. Honestly, it just felt like dead as fuck.
playing the demo to, I think, Future Tools of Destruction at a Walmart kiosk whenever they had like the console kiosk, and that was a lot of fun. Like, I had the 360 and Wii at the time, and I was like, I would probably buy a PS3 for this game, but obviously I didn't buy a PS3 until like much later.
Yeah.
Yo, so yeah, so it's definitely pretty hyped that you know, PC is getting another PlayStation exclusive, and you know, as the days go on, you know, the full slate on PC of the Sony games coming to PC is definitely pretty exciting. You know, I was reading this this Reddit forum of the news that happened, and one person made a comment saying that, oh, so are the PlayStation exclusives dwindling by the day? You know, the fact that they are coming to PC. Another person made a reply saying that, oh, even though, you know, I do like gaming on the PC, the PlayStation still serves its purpose, being, you know, very like an accessible console. Like the fact that you just like press start and you're in the game. I think on PC, like, you still have to deal with like driver updates, making sure that, you know, all your settings are good. So you still have like some like quirks to deal with on PC, right? So yeah. How do you guys feel about, like, you know, this kind of concept of like, oh, the exclusives are kind of like diminishing the value of the PlayStation?
The way I see it is, I'm a firm believer in, like, I have all the platforms. I have a PS5, I have a Series X, I have a Switch, and I have a PC. But I am a very firm believer of exclusives do matter, because they give you a reason to buy the console. Because if every platform has had the same library, then there's really no incentive to buy like an Xbox or a PlayStation over the other. It doesn't really necessarily affect me too much, just because Sony went about it the smart way, where it's like, okay, we're gonna put all of our games first on PlayStation, so that way we can still push hardware sales, but then 2 to 3 years down the line, you know, for those that are just still refusing to get a PlayStation, that's where we'll put the games on PC. So basically just giving the incentive for the PC audience to be like, hey, if you want to experience our games sooner, you know, pick up a PlayStation. Whereas Xbox, they kind of went the route of, you know, nobody's gonna want to buy our console anyway, let's just put everything out there and just give PC gamers no reason to buy our console unless they want to do backwards compatibility and all that stuff. And I love PC gaming. Like, there's a lot of benefits, especially performance, there's a lot of sales and everything. All the PlayStation games, or at least all the ones I played, Spider-Man, Returnal, God of War, they all ran fantastically on PC, but it's not really becoming enough for me to want to like go and double dip for every single PlayStation game. So it's really just kind of on a per title basis. And as much as I love PC, like, most of the time I do kind of like the simplicity of console. I like having the disc available. I like kicking back on a beanbag chair or like a couch and just playing the game on a TV. Granted, like, yeah, I can hook up my PC up to my bedroom TV and whatnot, but I think there's still value in exclusives. I'm still a firm believer in all that. I guess that's the main point that I'm making, is just like, yeah, we still need to have exclusives. I don't know where to take this, so I'm going to give it off to Joker before I make this really awkward.
What's up?
Nah, I mean, you definitely killed it, like, with your point, so yeah, appreciate that.
I mean, it's good to have if you're in the video game business and if you have a console, right, it's always like Melodic says, I'm a firm believer in exclusivity too. I'm not saying that it should be permanently exclusive. Like, you know, what Melodic says, over the time period, going about it in the smart way is what counts the most, right? And That PlayStation at the minute, they've done it, because right now, let's face it, as much as there are certain things Xbox does that PlayStation doesn't, they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot at the minute, fam. Think about it, like they released the game day one on Game Pass, right? A lot of people out there who cap, I know a lot of people cap that they buy the fucking game. No, they don't, right? I know a lot of fucking people who will just wait for that freaking day one on Game Pass, and then as soon as they play it, and if they don't like it, they will uninstall that game. And then they pretend on fucking Twitter and all those other fucking media bullshit saying that, oh yeah, I bought the game, hands down. As they're like, no, you don't. No, you don't. You tried it, you didn't like it, you just decided to uninstall it. And then you're playing another game, like they probably hop on, for all you know, RuneScape, and they'll be fucking sitting there and playing that game for fucking ages. So some of these people, you know, whatever they say, I don't take that into consideration. It's like, it matters to me the most as to how a company would go forward with certain things and how they utilize all of their fucking tools into their advantages, and how well they're going to utilize all those revenues that they pick up eventually. So, you know, for me, I'm not that bothered if the game comes to PC after, like, I don't know, 3 or 4 years. But this Ratchet and Clank, though, it came a bit too early, in my opinion, anyway. So, other than that, I'm not that bothered about exclusives after 3 or 4 years of the game being on the console itself to come on PC. You know?
I mean, it has like gotten into my mind of like, do I really need my PlayStation 5? But at the same time, like looking at it this way, it's like, okay, well, if I want to play the game as soon as possible, definitely keep the PS5 around. And like I said, sometimes I'll have those days where it's like, okay, I want to go to my PC and play a game, and then I'll have other days where it's like, no, I want to go sit down and just, you know, play on my consoles. So for me, it's just like I view it just as another option. But if you want, us being content creators, or not so much me, because I don't do a whole lot of gaming content that much recently, but like a lot of the content creators in this community, they're going to want to play the game as soon as possible. So therefore, there's an incentive to keep your PlayStation 5 because of that, because you're going to want to play those games as soon as possible. So that's where I'm kind of like seeing the benefit of being a multi-platform owner, because, you know, I have the PS5, so I know that I'm going to be able to play Spider-Man 2 as soon as possible, whereas everybody else who does not want that platform, they're going to have to wait like another 3 years before getting that game. So that's kind of like the main advantage of just keeping the console right now. Whereas on Xbox, the only reason I have a Series X right now is purely for backwards compatibility and just whatever's on Game Pass.
Yeah, that's pretty huge. Yeah, but
That
you know,
backward compatibility
at the
comes
end of the day, like, you know, it is still a console exclusive, but you know, I feel like, you know, most people on the socials are over exaggerating on the fact that, oh, our exclusives are kind of diminishing the fact that they are going to PC. So you know, Ratchet going on to PC on July is pretty huge. Let's actually go into our next smaller topic, and so it seems to be there's a lot of hype there on PC for Street Fighter 6. You know, if you look into the top Steam top sellers right now, Street Fighter 6 is in the number 2 most pre-purchase game, like in the top sellers.
Bruh.
So
When it comes to Street Fighter, all I'm saying is I'm hyped. All right. Carry on, Crow.
yeah, so anyways, so what are you guys hype levels for Street Fighter? Because it's definitely looking pretty lit. I mean, like the review embargo got lifted, I believe, a few days ago, and then there's been a lot of positive reception. You know, when it comes to the other modes, like, you know, for the most part in Street Fighter, they've only catered towards like the pro players, like the fact that you have like the ranked modes and like the extensive training modes and things like that. But this time around, they are making an emphasis on, you know, making sure that the story in the single player component is doing good. And when you look at the trailers that they have been like showcasing, like they do a good job of like revealing like key things that happen in the story as well. So how do you guys feel about Street Fighter 6, and what are you guys hype levels for the game?
I'm gonna give this to Joker because I gave 2 shits about Street Fighter.
What?
Oh wow!
Okay, alright.
Wow! Okay.
You're not a fighting
I just
gamer.
don't play a
So...
lot of like. I have a very specific taste for fighting games. Like Mortal Kombat, I don't play that much. Like for me, it's mainly like I guess Soul Calibur. That's about it. But
Okay.
anyway, it's not much.
So you're a very picky player kind of a thing, like pick and choose
Really?
with certain fighters, yeah? So for me, bro, I can tell you right now, my hype level for the Street Fighter is very, very high. So in a scale of 1 to 10, I'm pretty much above 10. So let's put it that way. And not only that, like, for me, it also, the way they have been presenting and showcasing the whole entire things, dropping character trailers, showing how each character plays, they're slowly building up fans to kind of expect what certain characters can do and how they can utilize that character in a fucking match. And not only that, like, yes, it does cater to, I think this is the Street Fighter that actually kind of did very well on marketing compared to all the other Street Fighters. They've done an excellent job at fucking marketing this Street Fighter. And let's face it, even casuals who are not into Street Fighting games can pick up this game because they introduced the modern controller scheme. So a lot of people who are actually, thinking of playing Street Fighter will pick up this game and be like, you know what, there is an actual control scheme now that I can sit there and play on modern things. And I experimented with modern controls, right, throughout this whole beta process. Before, I do play with classic controllers, and I do have a fight stick specifically for my fighting games. But when I did sit back, like, one point we were like, you know what, let me lay back on my sofa and hold my game controller, and experimenting throughout this whole beta time, playing with Windu, pretty much like we stayed up, I believe, like 6-7 hours playing the fucking game, for just fighting each other for the sake of fighting each other, right? And some of our other homies joined into just for shits and giggles. And honestly, bro, we picked up a lot of fucking information just on that modern control scheme. And yeah, man, looking forward to it because I can see that a lot of people are giving it a try. I'm gonna give it a try, and they're also super excited because I don't know, Kuro, I don't know if you know Lolo. Not Lolo, sorry, Latin, Windu's cousin.
Yeah,
right? Yeah, he doesn't play fighting games a lot, and if he does, he only used to play Injustice at that time, right? For him to sit there and be like, yo, I'm super hyped for fucking Street Fighter, it's a big say because this homie plays competitive shooters and MOBAs, right? And for him to just be like, yo, bro, I actually pre-ordered this fucking Street Fighter game. I'm ready to go. I can't wait to kick your ass. And like, that's a big shout out to homie over there. Is there like, all right, this man is ready to get some smoke from me and Windu, So yeah, bro, I'm looking forward to it. And I hope a lot of people, who are going to get it will have a lot of fun too, bro. So yeah, that's my take on it, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, like, modern is definitely an interesting control type. I mean, like, the fact that you can do specials on just one button or like 2 button presses with the supers, that's pretty huge. And it's definitely makes it more accessible for new people coming in. The thing I found funny is like,
yeah.
Sorry, you want to say something about this?
Yeah, so no, like a lot of people, I see on social media, they're like, bro, they're shitting on modern controllers, right? But I'm telling you one thing, you put a veteran player who plays Street Fighter throughout his whole entire time, right? He might prefer classic controls because that's what he practiced on over time period, right? But a vet who understands a fighting game to the fullest extent, which means the mechanics of the character, the abilities of the characters, frame data, everything, like, the timing, parrying, everything like that, right? Whoever from a vet perspective changes over to modern, I'm telling you right now, they will literally stay in the dominant position for a very long time until another vet player, like a pro player, will pick up the modern controllers and then starts realizing, holy shit, like not long ago I posted a tweet on Twitter that showcased like how pro players are utilizing modern control schemes inside the Street Fighter game. And boy, I'm telling you, that's some next level fucking utilization of how they gonna bring to the fucking ranked matches. And I'm for one, I'm super looking forward to grinding ranked mode. That's all I'm saying, because I just want to see what players and what pro players are gonna come up with certain way to utilize their characters, bro. That's what I'm super intrigued and super excited to look forward to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a lot of people were saying like, hitboxes were overpowered. Maybe the modern control scheme is kind of like bridging the gap between like pad and like hitbox. So it's definitely interesting, accessibility move by Capcom with that. I did want to mention that, with the World Tour mode, you can choose any of the Street Fighter character roster as one of your main moves. And when I was watching one Street Fighter 6 review, like he had he made the guy in the World Tour mode, and he actually had the Chun-Li moveset. And it's funny like seeing like right before it gets into the fight, like he has the guy with the ass sticking out, like with Chun-Li's pose. Is like so hilarious, bro. Like it's kind of funny, like how you're seeing Chun-Li as a guy, which is kind of hilarious. So yeah, you have like that's kind of awkward, having the moveset for the guy. But they do have a lot of wacky things in the World Tour mode. There's a lot of little references in there with the Street Fighter classic characters you meet in the World Tour mode. So it is going to be pretty interesting, and I'm definitely going to check it out. Maybe on the weekend after the initial day. The first day is probably going to be me just labbing all the moves and everything, and trying to hit online. So yeah, definitely hyped for Street Fighter.
That's exactly what my intention is. I'm just gonna be in the training mode, just sitting there practicing with every single character. Looking forward to Kimberly. That girl is on a different scale of spectrum. She looks very exciting to play with, and yeah, bro, I'm looking forward to utilizing her so much. But at the same time, I'm looking forward to the rest of the roster within it, because I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you played much Street Fighter games, but there is a character, her name is Lily. She is basically kind of like Sakura, who looked up to Ryu throughout the whole thing, and that's why she has like a similar fighting stance. But same like Sakura, we have Lily in this new Street Fighter 6, who looks up to T-Hawk. So
yeah, I was gonna mention T-Hawk, from Street Fighter Alpha 3. Yeah.
So T-Hawk obviously is not in the game. I don't believe so. So they bought Lily, and Lily is pretty much, she's got the similar moveset as T-Hawk, and in order to meet up to the height and the weight and the reach and everything like that, she utilizes these two boomerang things that she's holding, bro. So I'm looking forward to see how she works out, because I can see a lot of toxic players. When I say toxic players, not like bad mouthing and shit like that, like toxic players who are sweat mode 100, right? Just going to be utilizing that character along with what's her name, Marissa, the gladiator girl.
Yeah,
so
she's gonna be a problem.
She's gonna be a fucking problem, because I hope, because I didn't see much of the roster list, but I didn't see Zangief, and Zangief is my dude, right? Like, I'm a brawler kind of a type and grappler kind of shit, so if Zangief is not there, you know for a fact I'm going to be hopping on Marissa just to see what she can bring to the table. But yeah, bro, looking definitely excited for this Street Fighter. 3 days, baby, 3 days. You know what I mean? So pre-ordered that deluxe edition. We're waiting for it to pre-install and keep it ready.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. You know, there's a lot of hype for Street Fighter, and it's good to see that even on Steam, on the PC side, there's a lot of hype going against it. With you know, a lot of people are on board with Street Fighter on PC. It's actually the #2 biggest seller on Steam. So
because you got to look at it this way. It's cross-play, so you know, because it's cross-play, like
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
because it's cross-play, a lot of PC players who want to play against other players instead of being just limited to PC players. Like I said, I was playing with Windu. Windu was on his PC, right? He was streaming because he wanted to stream. So he said, "I'm gonna get it on PC." I was like, "Cool." And then first he questioned me, saying that, "Is this crossplay?" I was there like, "Yes, it is." And he was there like, "All right, cool." And then he was there like, "So how do I invite you to a match and how do I challenge you?" I was there like, "Right, go to the lobby, choose one of the servers. I will hop into the same server." Like, even though I have 132 millisecond ping difference, bro, we were having a time of a fucking life, blah, you know, fucking doing Hadoukens and doing some combo, like 10 move combo, kicking asses. And then afterwards, him, when he realized that he could play with Jury very well, like he was just sitting there and playing with Jury for like, God knows, 20 matches, 30 matches back to back. And I was just switching it up, getting my ass kicked. Then eventually I realized, like, in this game, Ken might be my guy at this point, because I was winning with Ken, right? But when I was trying with other fucking characters, because I'm still in the process of learning certain characters like Luke and Kimberly and what was the other one? I can't fucking remember. But yeah, so we were just messing it up, switching it up every now and then. And not only that, like we saw like little extra incentives as well, because there were inside this lobby, like, you know, like a Xenoverse lobby, right? So you're going around and there is a section where it says extreme battles. Now, if you're just tired of fighting constantly against each other, like a one-on-one battle kind of a thing, you can mix it up. You can go to this extreme battle section. You can sit in one of the cabinets, and basically you have like little modifiers that drop while you're fighting each other, right? And even so, if you just want to like casually chill out, you can go to the other section and you can sit over there and play those old school Capcom games that was released on Sega Genesis, even Street Fighter Turbo 2.
Yeah,
that was there, 2D fighting.
Yeah, it's definitely
So-
not to the classics, and yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
so
the
little Easter things like that.
the extreme battle is definitely a cool addition as well. You know, I did see a few videos about that.
Yeah, so we were just sitting there like, me and Lolo, we just hopped in and we were sitting there like, "Yo, bro, let's play this little what was that freaking thing? I can't remember the fucking game name that they had. Like every day they were switching it up. So like there was Street Fighter 2 one day, then there was like a little there was what you remember, there was a game called Golden Axe back in the day. On Sega Genesis, I believe, but it
Yeah,
was
I
like a
remember
similar
it.
version.
Yeah, was it like similar to Streets of Rage, but it's like slower
Yeah,
pace?
but it's like it was like you have this little sprites that you had to use. You could have an axe and you just swing at it as you progress through the levels.
Yeah.
So Capcom had a similar game, and they actually had it on that cabinet. And me and Lola was sitting there like, I wonder if we can play this 2 players. Like, Lola, come on, you know what I mean? We were trying our fucking best to try doing whatever. But yeah, man, I love the fact they added little modes like that within the lobby, so that you don't have to take it too seriously. Yeah, you don't have to go sit in the cabinet. It's only if you want to face a character who's been shit talking in the lobbies. They like, "Alright, bro, pull up. We can sit in this cabinet, fight each other." If not, you can just go to the menu and switch on the ranked match mode and casual match mode, and while you're roaming around inside this little lobby, you will automatically get put in a match. So yeah, dope little things.
Yeah, most definitely. You know, there's a lot of hype for Street Fighter 6, and it's good to see. So let's actually move on to our first main topic of the day, which is Tears of the Kingdom. And let me actually get into the Guinness World Record article that I found where yeah, so actually the Zelda Tears of the Kingdom did make it to the World Guinness, one of the World Guinness records. This is one of the fastest Nintendo selling IP. And so Tears of the Kingdom actually broke this record. The previous record was held by Super Smash Bros. In 2018. And when that came on the Switch, it actually sold $12 million in 24 days. So Tears of the Kingdom actually broke this record by selling 10 million copies in the first 3 days. And yo, this is a huge juggernaut that just dropped on Nintendo. You know, a lot of people are definitely hype about this Zelda game. And yeah, so let's actually move on to our impressions of Tears of the Kingdom. And so I'm gonna pass it to Melodic. And how do you feel about, you know, this being the fastest Nintendo selling IP?
It's kind of like, I wouldn't say surprising because Zelda is such a big franchise to this day even. But considering that we didn't hear much about, like, we didn't see a whole lot of gameplay of this game literally until like a month before the game comes out. It was surprising, like, because I went to the midnight release. I went all out for this game. Like, my GameStop was packed when it came to the midnight release. I saw a bunch of people online. They were going to midnight releases, and it was lined up out the door. Another GameStop in my local area had like this huge line outside. And honestly, I have not seen a midnight release as big in a good long while. So it was something really cool to see, especially after that, after the pandemic, seeing a big midnight release. But to the game itself, I can tell you right now that this game is much. It makes Breath of the Wild look like a tech demo, and Breath of the Wild was one of the games I was the most hyped for throughout high school going into college. The last game that I had that had me super hyped was Super Smash Bros. Brawl, just because of all the new stuff they were adding. And coming from Breath of the Wild, yes, like, initially I loved Breath of the Wild, and while that game does have a lot of flaws, it's still a fantastic game. And going into Tears of the Kingdom, I'm like, how in the hell did they make this game 3 times better than the original game? So obviously one of the main things in this game is there's an entirely new story. You're having to find Zelda after you and Zelda come across, you know, I won't spoil the beginning of the game for those who haven't played it, but one of the main new things is like you're up in the sky, but then there's also the depths, which is like this whole underground area that's as big as the map of Hyrule. And honestly, like, it's crazy because there's so much to explore in this game. I've always been telling people, you see me on Twitter, go explore the depths. Like, the depths, not only is the atmosphere on point, but you get a lot of cool gear when you're down in the depths, just like exploring. But where do I even begin? Like, the building is really good. I'm not so much of a building type of person. Like, I'm not super big into like the building, like, you know, getting super creative on making vehicles. But the thing that's been good about this game is like you can pretty much anything that you can come up with on the spot, you can make it. Because previously in the traditional formula of Zelda, you go to a dungeon, you do the first half of the dungeon, you fight the mini boss, you get an item specifically to help you solve the puzzles that's in that dungeon, and then you use it as to expose the boss's weakness. Like with Breath of the Wild, they give you a limited tool set. They give you fusion, they give you recall, they give you ultra hand, and basically that's your main tool set throughout the entire game. But the good thing about this new like sub-series of Zelda when it comes to the open world stuff is they give you like only like 4 or 5 tools, but those tools can do an abundance of different things, as we've seen with like Magnesis and like the Cranosis and all the previous stuff from Breath of the Wild. It's similar with Tears of the Kingdom, except with Tears of the Kingdom's toolset, it allows you to build vehicles, it allows you to come up with all new different weapons, it allows you to solve puzzles differently. Recall has been amazing for solving puzzles. Ascent has been amazing for exploration and being able to climb cliffs faster. And there's so much potential in this game. that God knows how many years we're going to be seeing discoveries in Tears of the Kingdom like we have for Breath of the Wild. The story in this game is much better than Breath of the Wild. It's more cinematic. As soon as you get the Dragon's Tears quest, I recommend that you try to beat that quest as soon as possible. I'm not going to give it away for story-related reasons, but you get a particular item that's going to help you along the way. So definitely do that quest first. The dungeons, traditional dungeons are back. However, they still kind of take that same formula from the original Breath of the Wild, where there's like things you have to activate on the map, but at least everything has a theme to it. And I've just recently beat the last dungeon in the game last night, so basically before I go and fight Ganondorf, I still want to go and explore and everything. I can tell you right now that the fire dungeon's definitely the worst, but the dungeon I played last night is definitely probably the best I've played in the game. It's still nowhere near as good as the traditional dungeons as the previous Zelda games, but they're definitely much better than the Divine Beasts in Breath of the Wild. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to get my thoughts in order because there's a lot in this game. But I took vacation time to play this game, so I had like a whole 4-day weekend. Like I tell you, like each day I was spending like 10 hours on this game. I'm at 55 hours, but within those 55 hours, I've done so much, and I have not even like there's still so much to do. Bam, who will probably show up later, he's like 70 hours in the game I saw on Switch, and God only knows how much he's been discovering. But I've just been like posting on Twitter like crazy. A lot of the stuff that I'm discovering Zelda. I went from not having a whole lot of gear to having some of the best gear in the game, to fighting bosses that are out there in the underworld and out there on the main map. I'm still finding shrines. I love it. I love it. As a longtime Zelda fan, I love it. Is this the best Zelda game of all time? I don't really want to say, because I don't want to feed into the recency bias. And on top of that, Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, Link Between Worlds, those are like my favorite in the series. Those games are so legendary. But after I beat Breath of the Wild, that was my favorite game of all time at one point, until I kind of went back and I was like, no, classic Zelda is still kind of my thing. But with the amount of content that this game has and what this game does to improve upon Breath of the Wild, which, by the way, for a game that supposedly like uses like the same map as Breath of the Wild, it feels like a different game. And I beat Breath of the Wild on Master Mode literally right before Tears of the Kingdom came out, and I was like, it feels familiar, but it doesn't feel like the same map at all. So that put my worry to bed immediately, and obviously having the whole underworld and the sky, it makes up, like, this is what Breath of the Wild should have been when it first came out on Wii U and Switch. There's a lot.
So for me, like, initially I had kind of second thoughts on this game, leading up to it. I thought it was going to be DLC for the most part, but I did actually come across a tweet saying that, they're going to be bringing back traditional big dungeons in this game. And that's what kind of got me into it. And when you first get into the tutorial island, like the amount of customization you can do with like the building and everything is just absolutely insane. With like the 3 abilities that they give you, like the whole thing about the whales that they did on the island was pretty clever, and the fact that you can like use Ultra Hand on those big platforms, that was pretty cool as well. But then when I went to Hyrule, I was kind of like, yo, like where's all the whales at? Like they kind of like drifted away from the whole concept. But I do like how all the shrines are like they do take advantage of all the abilities that you have. So like I found like all the shrines are like the puzzles in the shrines are much better. And they've done a good job with the Korok mini games as well, like the Korok guys you find across Hyrule, and like all the Korok mini games are like well done in this as well.
I'm still not a big fan of the Korok seed hunt. Like, I'll go after them if I see them, but I'm not trying to find 900 Korok seeds. I'll just get enough to where I can hold the gear in the game, but for me, it's like I'm always like searching for shrines and all that stuff and treasure. But the Koroks, they can kick rocks.
Yeah, but like like all the naysayers saying that the people looking outside looking in saying that, oh, this game is just DLC. Why buy a game that's $70 on an old ass platform? Like, all the graphics are the same as the original. Like, listen, bro. Like, there's a reason why these devs spent 6 years making this game. Like, it's a completely new experience, and the whole world is like completely different, right? So,
And on top of that, we could make the same argument for things like I love God of War and I love God of War Ragnarok, but you can make the same argument for that game. It's like, dude, it's a direct sequel. Of course, there's going to be a lot of similarities. Spider-Man to Spider-Man Miles Morales, most likely to Spider-Man 2. Same assets, same stuff. Like it's a sequel to the game, so like automatically it kind of makes that argument mute. And then second of all, the amount of tools that they give you and the amount of polish that this game has alone, like, kind of goes to show you that this game feels like a much better version of the first game while also doing its own thing and having its own identity.
so yeah, even like the fusibility, the fact that they made the fusibility work with almost anything in the game. Like when you fight those what are those green things called? Like the green
The
robots?
Zonite.
Oh, Zonites, yeah. Like when you fight the Zonites, they drop the like those weapon shards that you can equip on weapons. Like I found that to be pretty good, pretty handy.
Yeah, the amount of things that you can fuse too, like there's some really good combinations you can have. I didn't fuse a whole lot with my shield. The only thing I've fused with shields have been like sleds and all that stuff, just because like I like to shield surf around everywhere. But like if you have like
have you actually fused a rocket to a shield? You can actually like rocket shield.
Yeah,
that's
shoot up
pretty.
into the air. It's really good for like certain sections, especially when you're up
Yeah.
in the sky. You need a little bit more verticality to be able to then glide over to a different island. I've used that.
Wait, so you can actually launch yourself up in the air vertically? It's not.
Well, with the rocket, so if you fuse the rocket to the shield and you hold your shield regularly, it'll shoot you up into the air until the battery runs out.
Okay. Yeah, I just saw that in the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen someone use it as a shield surfing thing. It's pretty epic. So I did it one time.
Yeah. I saw the same video where somebody was in the sky and they were surfing on a rocket. That was really cool.
Like apparently you can you can use the shield surf rocket and then you can cancel out of that, and then you can like redo it multiple times in the air.
I was
So
trying to do it, but I couldn't get it down.
Yeah, it's pretty tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've
yeah,
seen, like,
the Zelda breaking the world record in 10 million copies in 3 days. That's definitely huge. And so yeah, yeah, my initial thoughts on it is that like the whole crafting thing is definitely top notch. The fact that they have those building materials across Hyrule, I thought that was pretty clever. And you do have like NPCs this time around almost everywhere in Hyrule, so it kind of
yeah,
makes
the
the
game
world
definitely feels more alive.
definitely feels more alive in this one, and it does feel lived in. So that's a huge plus. And yeah, like you have the whole sky islands and you have the depths to explore, so it's definitely a lot, man, in this version of Zelda.
How I like to compare Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom is Doom 2016 to Doom Eternal. Like Doom 2016 on its own was a fantastic game, a great reboot to a series, but Doom Eternal just amplifies that much more, adds a lot more verticality, adds much better gameplay. That's where I see this with Tears of the Kingdom. It's a much better version of Breath of the Wild, like much more realized version of Breath of the Wild. So yeah, that's how I like to make that comparison.
Right. Shout out to Deflord in the chat. He says, "Have you guys done any of the labyrinths?" I'm not sure what he's talking about. The
I think
labyrinths.
he's talking about there's a labyrinth over in near the Rito village. There's like this giant maze that has a shrine in the middle of it, and then that also acts as a point to go to the depths. I did the shrine in that labyrinth, but I couldn't figure out how to get to the depths through the labyrinth. There's a there's like a part of that labyrinth is up in the sky as well. I haven't done that second part of it yet, because I know there's like a second part to that labyrinth, but I know what he's talking about, if that's what I'm talking about, if he's talking about that labyrinth. But if you're talking about dungeons, yeah, I've done all the dungeons.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so yeah, for me, I haven't made it that far. I just reached the first wind. What is it? The wind temple.
Yeah, the one where you go up
Like
in the sky.
where you go with Tulin and like you're trying to like traverse the platforms. So
Actually, I'm sorry to interrupt. The set pieces to go up into that dungeon, I thought was really cool. Like the dungeon itself was cool, it was serviceable, but like the amount of traveling you have to do to like basically platform, almost they made this game like a Mario game where you have to do all this platforming and stuff to get up to the sky. I actually really like that. I love the added verticality that this game has. Like I thought it was a really fun section.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so it's a lot to unpack in this game. It's crazy how Nintendo put all of this into this old hardware, but for the most part, it is running at 30 frames. Like, did you notice any frame dips in your playthrough?
I did notice a few frame dips in different areas. Some was because of the amount of stuff going on. Mainly it's just because like the amount of stuff going on screen, and sometimes when you're using the Ultra Hand. But has it been detrimental to the experience to the game? No. Like I didn't die due to performance issues. I didn't mess up on anything due to performance issues. But like I'm gonna keep it real. Like yeah, there has been some dips within this game, but it has not been anything that has gotten in the way of the main game experience itself. One thing I would like to say is I'm very impressed like that this game is not, I mean this game definitely has like its glitches in there, but I'm surprised of like how this game has basically been bug free, has been working at release. We haven't had that in a while.
Yeah, it's a good point. I will say that like Nintendo just told all the naysayers like you don't need to have a powerful console to make a good game. Like I feel like this is a really good point here. For me, like I've tried hard to get into the Horizon series, but I do feel like something about Zelda, like with Breath of the Wild and now Tears of the Kingdom, like they do such a good job of making an open world much more enjoyable to like explore, and like you're constantly being rewarded like everywhere you go. Like you're constantly being rewarded with if you climb a tall area, you can actually find a shrine across the map, or you can find like there's definitely that incentive of like exploring. So like and I feel like the biggest downfall of Horizon in my opinion is the fact that like why you're constantly being in the middle of a path with like big ass like enemies, like that kind of ruins the moment to moment gameplay, because like you have like some annoying enemies along your path, and you do have to fight them before you actually continue.
And I think the one thing that Zelda in its current design has the advantage of is that, at least going off how Breath of the Wild was, as soon as you get off the Great Plateau, you can go straight to the final boss if you're skilled enough, but you will most likely get your ass beat. So instead of having a story progression, instead of having the game naturally be like, okay, do this, do this, do this, do that, and then meet up in the middle to go to the final boss, it's like, look, you can go to the ending of the game anytime you want. However, we do recommend that you do some of the stories so you can get better gear in the game to then eventually go and beat said game. I think that's like one of the main things that Zelda has in its current like open world design, is that they basically give the player freedom to where it's like beat the game whenever you want, have fun, do whatever you need to do whatever you want to do, as long as you remember you got to go beat Ganon at the end of the game. We'll be waiting for you. So I think that's like the one thing that kind of makes Zelda's game design a lot better as an open world is the amount of freedom it gives you, and I think the traversal in this game also has like makes this game a lot more enjoyable than other open world games. Because I played Hogwarts Legacy, and until I got the broom, I kind of felt like getting from point A to point B was kind of a drag. I kept on having to use fast travel a whole lot just because I don't want to run back and forth everywhere, and you know, I didn't have access to the broom until a certain point in the game. In Zelda, it's like, okay, well, instead of following this path, I can either climb this mountain, jump off the cliff, and then glide to my destination. You know, I have multiple options to approach my destination however I want to go to. And not to say that, like, I do eventually want to go back to Horizon, but I will also, like, Elden Ring is a great game also, because that game kind of, like, throws you in there and be like, here you go, have fun. But where I think Elden Ring kind of flounders a little bit for me is the traversal. It's like, yeah, you got the horse and everything like that,
So
but it's
not the difficulty that throws you off in Elden Ring.
It's not really much of the difficulty. Like, I mean, yeah, difficulty can be a factor, but I like whenever I played Elden Ring on PS5 for the first time, I went into a cave, I found a boss, and I was able to beat him no problem. But it's like, for me, it's like going in that world, and I'm like, I would like to get over here, but the thing that sucks is I can't climb this mountain. I have to go all the way around to get to this one point. But yes, I have approached some monsters in Elden Ring on the map, and I've gotten my ass slapped because of it. But like, Elden Ring is good because it has that sense of discovery, just like Zelda has it. But where I think Zelda is a little bit better is how you can progress the story in any way you want. And the traversal, I think, is the most important thing. I think the freedom that Zelda gives you kind of makes it more appealing than most other open world games.
Yeah, you know, when you compare the two, you know, Zelda's definitely the more accessible open world game. Obviously there's like some like elite enemies that are gonna give you trouble, but it's nowhere close to like like a Souls boss.
Yeah.
That just gives you cancer, man. Like trying to be elitist, trying to be the boss is it's like
No,
it's
Shout out
like
to
a mission in itself, man. It's pretty tough at times.
Shout out to Eric for the win. I'm gonna pick on her real quick. She's amazing when it comes to these Souls games. She gets busy on Souls games, but I saw her stream Zelda on some parts, and I'm like, how do you go and beat all these Souls games, but you're having to struggle on this part in Zelda, you know? So it's been fun seeing that kind of like crossover of it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pass it to Joker. I know you probably haven't touched this game, but have you watched any videos on it?
I have, but at the same time, to be honest with you, I like I said, like last time, I gave away my Switch to this little kid because he was crying and shit. So, I mean, I watched some videos. Looks dope as fuck. I've seen some gameplay footages from loads of people that I follow on Twitter. So yeah. To be honest with you, I can't say anything. So that's only because I haven't played it, to be honest. So yeah, man, that's all I can say to you, to be honest.
Yeah, alright, man. You know, this is definitely, you know, one of those titles that's worth keeping the Switch. You know, I do want to check out Fire Emblem Engage. You know, a lot of people were saying that Fire Emblem Engage wasn't as good as Three Houses, but the core gameplay is still there and everything. So, so yeah, this is definitely one of those titles that's worth keeping the Switch around, and it's definitely you know, well worth sequel, and it's worth the $70. I mean, in my opinion. So
Definitely, like Breath of the Wild, like there's just a lot of game in this game. Like if you're into open world games and if you're a Zelda fan, there's nothing to be disappointed about with this game.
Yeah, most definitely. So, you know, I appreciate your input on this, Melodic, and you know, you being a huge Zelda fan, it's interesting to hear your opinion on it. You know, for me, I've only played Ocarina of Time and a few Zelda games. Have you actually played like Phantom Hourglass or?
Phantom Hourglass, I actually hate. I hate Phantom
really?
Hourglass.
Okay.
I just don't like the controls of that game. I do own that. Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass are two Zelda games I want to go into and actually give a good college try and beat those games, but it's like the control scheme, I never liked it. But Ocarina of Time, like, dude, that's a classic. I own a physical complete inbox Nintendo 64 copy of that game. I have my grandma's copy of Ocarina of Time at the house currently. Although, like, unfortunately, I've been having trouble getting the battery fixed on that cartridge. So that save data for that cartridge is gone. And then Ocarina of Time 3DS, like, I've been slowly replaying. I need to get back to. But yeah, like, I have every Zelda game. I have a video on my channel of every Zelda game.
Yeah, you know, you should give those DS games a try. I mean, I thought they were pretty clever with their like the puzzles and everything. It's pretty interesting with the like you have to use the stylus to move Zelda around and.
You mean Link?
Some of the oh sorry, I mean Link. Yes. Shoot. Okay.
Yeah. No, Spirit Tracks, that's a game I actually have not played yet because I didn't like Phantom Hourglass, but I feel like I would enjoy that game a little bit more because of the train mechanic, the fact that Zelda's actually with you the entire game, and the Dark Knight armor, and the music in Spirit Tracks is fire. Like that soundtrack is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the whole customization of the boat in Phantom Hourglass is another interesting aspect as well. So yeah, it kind of has that Wind Waker kind of vibe to it.
And like it's crazy because Wind Waker is one of my favorite in the series, but with Phantom Hourglass is like going back to the Temple of the Ocean King over and over again. I was like, come on, not again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, there is a lot of backtracking in that, but yeah, I thought it was still pretty good game.
I'll get back to it one day.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, you should definitely give that a shot. Yeah, so you know, this wraps up the Tears of the Kingdom impressions. It's looking like a Game of the Year candidate. It's definitely a lot to unpack in this game. There's a lot to get into. You know, it's a lot of hours to sink into this game. Let's actually move on to the next major topic, which is we actually have an article opinion piece from Rock Paper Shotgun. And this kind of ties into the Sony showcase of 2023. And so her take is that, oh, we should stop with all the bland new multiplayer shooters that will die in the next 6 months. So before we actually get into this topic, let me actually ask you guys, like, what in your opinion is the most innovative multiplayer FPS shooter that has been released so far? Like for me, I would say, you know, Rainbow Six Siege is definitely the most innovative. The fact that they made like the whole extraction thing, and you know, everything about it is just pretty unique when it comes to an FPS game. So what are you guys thoughts on the most innovative FPS shooter that has been released so far?
I would probably say of most recent memory, Doom Eternal. It's not necessarily innovative, but the gameplay loop is what made me enjoy that campaign over other shooter campaigns. The fact that, okay, in order to reload, I gotta kill an enemy with or in order to get more ammo, I gotta kill an enemy with the chainsaw. In order to get more health, I gotta do a glory kill. In order to get health, or in order to get shields, I gotta light an enemy on fire and just start shooting at it. The amount of platforming that's in this game and the amount of collectibles that are in that game, like, it's not really so much innovative. It's just like it kind of goes back to an old formula that we're not used to nowadays. And I mean, Portal was very innovative for its time, but what happens when you add that into a multiplayer environment like Halo? Splitgate, I'm kind of disappointed that the developers are not really developing that game further, because I think they're gonna just like totally do a different project now. But Splitgate, I had so much fun with that game.
I had fun with Splitgate, to be honest.
I love Splitgate.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up Splitgate. Like, I thought you were having fun with that.
I love Splitgate. Like, I was there for the alpha, and then when they relaunched the game, I was there. When I first got the Steam Deck, the first game I played was Splitgate.
Oh, really? Okay.
Developers of Splitgate.
Yeah, I didn't think we were gonna play a competitive game like that on the Steam Deck. But
What's that?
I didn't think we were gonna play a competitive game on a Steam Deck. That kind of seems kind of
Well, Splitgate, like for me, like Splitgate was that good. I was like, this is gonna be the first game I try on Steam Deck. The
Okay.
developer, like the official account for Splitgate, messaged me and like, oh, how does the game run? And we'll figure it out for you. And some of the developers followed me on there. I did when if the game first came to console, I did a video on Splitgate saying that people should play this. So Splitgate has been very good to me. They've been really awesome, but the game is so much fun. And even for a while, like I remember listening to Scumcast, Slow-Mo gave me a shout out because it's like, yeah, I saw him play Splitgate and I got really into it. And like for a while, the community was into Splitgate, and then everything
was
came back. So I really hope they make a comeback soon. I really hope 1047 games. I hope they really like go back to that formula and really just try to pimp it out a little bit more because that game is awesome. And I think more people should have been on that game.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I could probably play.
Yeah, so let me pass it to Joker. What are your thoughts on the most innovative multiplayer shooter that's been released so far?
Oh, to be honest with you, I haven't been playing much multiplayer shooters to even say that what's the most innovative multiplayer shooter, to be honest. But yeah, if I have to go back, I would go back in time. I would say Splitgate was the one that was really did grab my attention. Like I became a content creator specifically for Splitgate. They even came into my channel and they were like just shouting me out every time I was just playing the game, and a lot of people came over there, followed. Some of my Twitch followers are from Splitgate, to be honest with you, so I really had fun with it, man. I even, like I said, because I was so into that game, I applied for the content creator. They hit me up saying that yes, you've been accepted, blah blah blah, and yeah, bro, it was one of the fun multiplayer experiences I had in a very long time. Unfortunately, the player base wasn't there to even go forward with it, and I feel like they kind of abandoned it. I don't know why, but I just feel like they abandoned the game. And every time I was logging in after that certain point, I was just coming across with like cheaters and all sorts of fucking other shit, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna stop playing the game altogether.
I think the developer said they were gonna stop like working on it because I think they were gonna either reboot it or do something else or like make another game. Like they gave a very specific reason as to why, but honestly, after having this conversation, I'm about to re-download Splitgate on Steam.
I mean, I still got it on my PS5, still playing it, to be honest with you. Even I had it downloaded on PC too, so
like, because I mean the thing is I miss the most about first-person shooter games is like, yeah, Battle Royale is cool, but I feel like it's the thing that's been overblown nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, I like a good old-school arena shooter. Like, that's why I still play Master Chief Collection. That's like the main game I still have downloaded on PC and Xbox. It's the main reason I play it.
The market is saturated with Battle Royales. I'm like, bro, this is just getting way too out of hand. I mean, it's fun, but don't get me wrong, it's just too oversaturated with it. Like any game that they release, they want to release a fucking battle royale mode to it. Like what the fuck is going on?
Like I really wish like Bethesda would make another, or id Software would make another Quake game right now. Like give us another like arena shooter, because I don't want to play with 100 people camping on a map. I want to have a team deathmatch and go frag a bunch of people. Like that's what I want. Like I want an arena shooter. That's why I love Splitgate. That's why I still play Halo MCC nowadays, is because I want that old school like FPS experience. Like
the old school experience I want is Quake.
Quake, yes. Like Quake Champions unfortunately fell off too. Like that was a fun game, but
yeah,
Microsoft,
Quake 3,
Bethesda now, like imagine now making Quake like another reboot of Quake on PC and Xbox. Like I think it would do really well if they did it right.
True, very true.
All right, yo, so let's actually get into this topic where so this piece from Walk Paper Shotgun, her name is Catherine Castle. She says that stop with all the bland new multiplayer shooters that will die off in the next 6 months. And so let me read a snippet of this article. So one after the other, developers' dreams of making the next big Destiny-like have gradually collapsed in on themselves. Some are still hanging in there, sure, but the genre as a whole feels like it's at its tipping point, and I couldn't help but sigh as 5 more multiplayer shooters joined the fray last night as part of the Sony's PlayStation Showcase. And not only were they great in number, but none of them felt as much as the CG trailers can feel in any way new and exciting. So let's actually go over the titles that she's talking about. So yeah, one of them was Helldivers 2, and this seems to be like a generic wave-based shooter. You know, we don't know all the details like from the CG trailer, but you know, coming off of Helldivers 1, that was like a co-op, you know, action-based wave shooter. So this kind of seems to follow the generic wave shooting trend. You also have Fair Games, which is a co-op bank heist type of game. You know, this was already done before with games like Payday and things like that. So, but yeah, this time around they are doing the cyberpunk theme, so they're trying to keep it fresh in that regard. Like a lot of people have mentioned that, you know, Fair Games is probably gonna be like it's gonna have like a battle pass, and like it's gonna be having like a rotating set of characters, each with their own gadgets and everything. So that's like the what people are speculating about Fair Games. And so out of all these games, to be honest, like I feel like Foam Stars has the most potential. A lot of people said it was kind of like similar to Splatoon, but I feel like, you know, Foam Stars has a pretty good potential there with you know, this unique FPS game. They're saying it's kind of like a 4v4 party shooter, and like there's like a clever use of the foam weapons and everything. The fact that like you're using foam on the ground, and then you whip out your surfboard and you like gliding through the map. So it's a pretty interesting you know, take on the shooting genre.
Foam Stars looks like Splatoon.
That's exactly what I said when I first looked at the trailer, man. Like,
So
honestly.
so you think it's a whip off of Splatoon, or you think they're trying to, you know,
I mean, I'm sure
make
it's gonna
like a
have
new
a
take on it?
quirk or whatever, but I'm kind of with everybody and saying like, yeah, they're kind of taking the page out of Splatoon's book, paint the wall. But
Yeah.
I would have to see more of that game first.
Yeah, I mean they're not like doing it exactly like Splatoon. I mean,
Yeah.
like you get points based on you know, how much ink you have on the floor. I don't think that they're doing it exactly like that. So they're kind of like putting their own spin on it.
And so I missed one of the trailers on this. Like I guess I wasn't looking at my phone at the time when I was watching the state of play, but Marathon from Bungie, that has my interest mainly just
Interest
because
too.
Marathon was like one of the first like shooter games that Bungie made. Like this was like long before Halo, back when Bungie was primarily a Mac developer. And this game looks really good, and it's supposed to be a PvP game, so could this be PlayStation's answer to Halo? Like, I'm kind of like, I'm cautiously optimistic about this, because this could either be a really fun multiplayer game, or it could just be another games as a service BS sort of game. So like, hopefully they approach Marathon the right way. Like, I want to see more of that game.
So so what are you guys' thoughts on her opinion? The fact that, you know, most of these games listed here, she does mention Concord. Concord is going to be another PvP game.
Bruh, I
by-
don't even like when I saw the reveal trailer for that, I was there like, what is this game? Because they didn't
Yeah,
make
no,
anything
it kind of
clear.
had like that Starfield like CGI
None of these,
trailer,
like,
it's kind of
gameplay,
like so
like out
ambiguous.
of all the trailers and stuff, I think Marathon was the one that
Yeah, that caught my attention. I was there like, this looks interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so
But,
what
yeah,
are you
but-
guys' thoughts on this? Like, do you think these titles are gonna die off quickly? Like, this is
mean-
her assumption. Like,
honestly, we kind of see that with a lot of games as a service right now. It's like, if you're not Fortnite or Apex, expect your game to die off within a year. That's why I'm, like I said, with Bungie doing Marathon, and considering they have success with Destiny, I really hope that Marathon can actually get off the ground. But Square Enix, I don't know if Foam Star is really gonna do that well. To be honest, I feel like that's a game that can easily die out. And then Fair Game, we didn't really see much of any gameplay. So I mean, honestly, like I have zero faith in a lot of games as a service game. So like honestly, I could see it going out pretty quickly.
Yeah, like you know, especially if you're taking into the consideration that Fortnite has the Unreal Editor mode, and people are making like the custom like arena modes and like stuff like that, and like that's a huge deal, man. Like you can make like your own Team Fortress, you can make your own, you know, you can make your own like arena style shooters in Fortnite. So you can make like your own Call of Duty if you want in Fortnite. So it's crazy, like the customization that they have going on with Unreal, and like, you know, people making custom modes and everything. So yeah, that's a huge thing. I mean, like I feel like, you know, I brought this topic up because like if you're not innovative in this FPS space, like you're gonna die off quickly, man. Like and like PlayStation has needs a multiplayer game, I feel like. So so which of these games do you think has a you know, fair shot at, you know, maintaining the like the multiplayer aspect for PlayStation?
I would say Marathon. Just
Marathon. That's exactly it.
Bungie's name alone will probably get people on Marathon.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, it's yeah, that's the Bungie name there. Yeah, I was reading it. It was kind of like or you're like in a team extracting something, and you're trying to make it to the deadline or something like that. I mean, the CGI trailer doesn't really do it justice. Like, doesn't really show that much.
Yeah, like
So
honestly,
let's see how it goes with Marathon.
I'm surprised they didn't show Factions, because that's the one game that people are not shutting up about.
Yeah.
And apparently that game got delayed indefinitely. So for Sony trying to get into the multiplayer games, this is off to a fantastic start.
Yeah, that's a huge setback, bro. Like, no Factions too. I mean, Neil Druckmann said one time that, you know, they were trying to make Factions 2 much more ambitious than the last one. So maybe it's like a huge, like a bigger map than that they had previously. So they're trying to like make like their own Daisy or something like that meets Factions. Let's actually move on to the Sony Showcase 2023 impressions. Like, how do you guys feel the fact that, you know, most of the trailers were third party, and the fact that most of it was CGI? It's kind of like an Xbox show in a way.
I was disappointed.
It was boring.
I was disappointed. I was
Like-
not expecting it to be that way, but wow.
Like, they're showing Final Fantasy 16 way too much. Like, the game looks good, but they're showing that game way too much. Like, that game comes out in like a couple weeks. Like, we didn't need to see that there. Spider-Man 2 looks really good, but it's kind of going back to the God of War Ragnarok argument, where it's like, it looks really good, but it's kind of just more of a continuation, I guess. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. I'm not hyped for Spider-Man 2, but it's really just kind of more Spider-Man. And the fact that we didn't see a whole lot of gameplay is definitely just kind of like, why? And then the whole thing is like, they could have shown Ratchet and Clank in this state of
Coming
play.
to PC.
Yeah, puzzling why they didn't do that. Like,
Yeah, they had the nerve to show a Gran Turismo movie trailer, but they didn't. Like, yo, that's pretty sus, man. They didn't show anything else with PC marketing. And they had to end the show with also the Q handheld, which is kind of weird. I mean, like,
that thing's
they're-
dead on. It's cloud
like-
only. It's dead on arrival.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
definitely that DOA, bro. Like, I
Nobody.
don't know what Jim Ryan was smiling about, but like that's definitely a bad luck. Like
Nobody
they're trying to capitalize on the trend of the Steam Deck, and like third-party PC manufacturers are getting on the PC handheld space. And
Yeah.
like, yo, this ain't it, bro. Like like you're streaming digital only games, like you can't stream physical games either. So,
Well, I
that's,
mean,
that's a low blow right there.
they can't do another handheld because people are gonna, just like the people who are out there emulating and pirating Switch games, they're gonna pirate the fucking Vita. So that's why there's not a native PlayStation Portable right now.
Okay. Yeah. So, what's your rating for the Sony showcase?
A 3.
I would say a solid 4.
Oh shit.
I mean, because really they just showed Spider-Man and then they showed trailers for other games that we don't even, like all their multiplayer stuff other than Foam Stars, we don't know what the hell they're doing. So
But I'll
it's
tell you one thing though, that the showcase had its perks for one thing, which was the Spider-Man gameplay, Marathon, showing off Marathon is going to be coming, and then also a couple of indie games that really piqued my interest. I was there like, alright, cool, I've got to definitely check that out. You know what I mean? But other than that, the show, like, really, you showed me a freaking Gran Turismo trailer that's already been, I've seen it in freaking Twitter already like hundreds of times. Like, that's kind of irritated me.
a lot of the stuff we've already seen. Like the only thing that was kind of cool is we saw gameplay for Spider-Man, but it's like we know Final Fantasy's coming out. We know of Gran Turismo movies coming out. Like, and honestly, I don't even remember what they showed from PlayStation VR 2 other than Queen has a music pack coming to Beat Saber. Queen's awesome. Like, I'm sure that shut down a lot of live streams of reactions to that. But I do want to get PSVR 2 eventually. Maybe I'll look at buying one.
You know, probably that's gonna come to the Oculus Quest too, like that same music pack.
I mean, yeah, it's gonna come there, but
Yeah.
like, I'm looking at it and it's like, honestly, like I would want to get a PSVR 2 just because the setup is really easy to have. I feel like it'd be better like play with people and all that stuff. Like, Oculus is cool, but PSVR has got more of my interest.
Yeah, like the thing with VR is like, yeah, it's like cool once in a while, but then you toss it aside and you kind of forget about it. But I mean, if you make like a schedule where like you can, you can make time for it, I feel like it's definitely, you know, it's much more interesting than 2D gaming. It's like, I do think that the software side it does need, you know, improvement, and like, you know, they did launch with the Horizon VR game, but honestly, like when I saw videos about it, it was just mainly like a linear game. It wasn't like too much interactability. Like it wasn't like open world like Half-Life Alex. Like I thought that was the main the thing where like you can like explore different areas. Like it's kind of like a more open-ended game than Horizon.
Like,
So,
I would be using VR more as a party device more than anything, because like, I mean, I can easily hook up an Oculus Quest to my PC to like get VR stuff going there, but like, considering that you have PlayStation exclusives games going to that, and on top of that, it's pretty much the best VR headset on the market that you can buy right now, unless you're going to super premium stuff. That's what's kind of got my attention, but it just really sucks that there's not a lot of backwards compatibility right now. But I still have my old PSVR headset, so.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely the highlight was Spider-Man 2. I mean, yeah, I mean, they had to show the set piece. Like, you know, I'm not sure if you know, the gameplay, I guess it may be similar to the last game. I hope they do make some innovations, you know, with the whole gameplay loop. Yeah, but they had to show the set piece because yeah, these are the exciting moments of the game. So it's a pretty clever way to market the game. Yeah, so you know, it's a disappointing showcase, man. Like the Sony Showcase 2023. Hopefully they do have an update for Pragmata. I do think that was one of the that was one of the cool games I found. You know, when they did the teaser trailer for it way back then. and there's no update for Death Stranding 2 or Final Fantasy 7 Part 2. So yeah, that's really disappointing. Hopefully we do have a taste of Final Fantasy 7 Part 2 later this year. So that's I'm pretty keen on that. So hopefully they do show something, by the end of the year about Final Fantasy 7. And yeah, so for this showcase, do you guys have any final thoughts on it?
Trash.
He said trash.
I mean, there's not much else. Like Spider-Man 2, that's about it.
True.
Yeah. Okay. Do you think that Sony will actually release a good games as a service multiplayer game?
I mean, it's possible, but it's really something we have to wait on. But honestly, anything that I see that's game as a service, I don't even really pay any mind. Like, that's how jaded I am of the whole games as a service model that's in gaming right now.
Fair point. Okay. All right. So let's end the show right here, and let's wrap it up, and let's go with the outros. And we got the good homie from the UK, Joker Gamer 3.
Yo, I appreciate you all. I appreciate you, Crow, for bringing me back into this podcast. And yeah, man, you'll definitely see me on Street Fighter 6 more, especially when it gets released, because I have 4 days off, specifically booked just to play this game. And other than that, you can follow me on socials on Twitter and Twitch, because I'm right now I'm in the middle of changing my motherboard on my PC because my motherboard is fried. So it sucks. Yeah, that's exactly what I said to myself. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, other than that, you can catch me on Twitter. You can hit me up anytime and I will respond. So much love. I hope you all have a good day. Thank you for having me, Crow.
Yeah, always appreciate your enthusiasm, and you're definitely a hype dude, so appreciate you. And let's go with the special guest, TheMelodicPunk.
Thank you for inviting me on Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. I want to try to beat it this weekend, just to get the story over with, and then it's on to record random bits of gameplay. Maybe I'll get a review, maybe I'll get some other content rolling here in the future. I got some ideas for videos. Definitely, thinking about the whole modern gaming stuff and thinking about games as service stuff. I think it would create a good discussion video on my channel just to pull out and do. But you can follow me on Twitter at TheMelodicPunk, and you can follow me at YouTube at TheMelodicPunk. And yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yo, it's always a pleasure, and I always appreciate the anyone that shows up here on the podcast live. I greatly appreciate you. And for those who tune in later, y'all are the real MVPs. And I know that I'm a small channel, but I appreciate any support here. So appreciate you guys checking out the podcast, and hope y'all stay blessed, and catch you on the next one. Peace.
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 I'm just waiting for Crow to let us know when we can talk.